Rec-
All right, so back at it again. Just looking at the charts. Just got a couple of things going on. Got a couple of trades. Closed out a few. Doing some pretty good. Slowly making back my profits. I lost a few back in December timeframe. It ended up being down somewhere around. Oh, that one wrong way. I need to hide the. How do I hide the meeting? Okay, so went down somewhere in like $400. Made half of it back already, so I'm still working through it, chipping away at these things. um, Currently in some trades right now, and I'm just looking to manage them through. Uh, Let me get myself out of the way. So currently just watching some stuff right now. In some trades, have some buys, some sells going on. Watching how things play out. I've already closed some trades earlier today that did pretty well. So let's go ahead and look at some of those. So like had a GPP NZD trade that closed off in profit here. Um, just breaks and retests, waiting for wick rejections, getting in on wick entries, things of that nature. USD CAD was a break and retest in an uptrend, so close that one. Odd CHF was another just a playing of an area that price bounced at, so I got into that. Just an area that I was looking at to manage price, manage my entry. Um, this one I'd been in for a little while. This USD Euro USD trade, Euro AUD trade. No, that's supposed to be no. Okay, yeah, that is Euro AUD. There's a Euro. There we go. Euro USD. There's one that I was in for quite some time, and it took forever. Uh, I was waiting to come back here to add, and unfortunately, I'm still working at that. Like my process of trying to manage these trades all usually work out well. So like this trade here, I was waiting for it to come into this area, take another buy, and then close this in profit. It never dipped down close enough, but I also wasn't watching it carefully enough. So all in all, I only lost maybe what 8% of this entire move here. I was just tracking for a higher high here. I really should have closed probably earlier in here once it started dipping down and coming back and everything like that instead of sitting through all of this drawdown, but I didn't do it. And so now I have roughly the same setup with like this GUP trade here. Um, there's a couple times all throughout this that I really could have managed it better. Um, I knew that this area down here was going to be an area to look at, so I could have closed these sells down here and just held the buys or possibly take another buy. And then even after all this went through and price came up here, I could have closed all the buys and entered a sell and gotten out, well as in profit, as well as closing some of these, like this one close to break even, this one at a loss, but it would have been covered by the buys and the sell. So I mean, it would have been well managed if I actually managed it, but I didn't. And these zones are the zones I've been looking at. So I just got to get better at that. And I sort of just dropped the ball here over the last maybe like week or so. Um, and so just working to get better at that and continue on with the trading. Um, Other than that, you've been looking at just just being more relaxed on my zones, just waiting patiently for certain things to set up, and then not stressing it too much. So as of that, that's really all we got. I have two things I'm looking at now. GUP I'm waiting for price to actually dip down a little bit further into here so I can actually manage this trade. Once again, I should have already been managing this trade. I should have actually got in there to begin with, maybe closed the sell and left that buy open. That would have at least wiped out this one, or could have just taken a brand new buy, whatever it was. Didn't do it. Waiting to see if price will push deeper into this level here before possibly getting back in. I do have a zone up here at the 1 hour where if price can push up into here, I'll look to take an entry there, possibly to come back down, which will be a nice risk to reward ratio there. GPUSD, I was waiting for this zone for price to pop back in here. It looks like we are in this zone. It's not a well-respected zone. but on the lower time frame, it's a recent break and retest. This did not close as well as I would have liked before it pushed right back up, and so it's like, what do I do with this now? I'm getting wick rejection here, so I might actually go ahead and take this, depending on how this candle closes in the next 26 seconds. I might take something like this. So that'll be what I look at actually in the 15 seconds. So let's go put this in GBP/USD. So risking 10, 100%. Stop loss will be 23 pips. So 0.04. So I'll just enter that on phone here. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. So let's see what we got. Kids are all out there doing school and stuff. So let's see, let's go to GBP/USD. New order. That was a 0.04, correct? 0.04 and a sell. All right, so there we go. No, you can't see. Oh, that's sad. Okay, so I'm in that trade now. Get a little corner area there. GBP/USD sitting at 0.04 at 20.27.3 is where my entry was at. 20.27.3, which is at 23 pips, and shooting for like a 1 to 1.5. So we'll see how this actually plays out. If price breaks above here, then I might look to manage this trade a little bit differently, instead of coming all the way up here and hitting a stop loss. Like if we aren't respecting this area, if we get a strong push up in here, and I'll just wait to see how it closes because it might reject. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. So, and I'll put my alert down there to start looking at stuff there. So I'm gonna put this up in the trading journal. Let's come back here. And you know, this is it. You come in, you make your trades, you track your trades. 11:56, and we're today, and that's that account. Not that the account matters. I don't know why I do that, but well, number one, it helps me to be able to quickly go back and find which account it is instead of having to cycle through it. Oh, it looks like we are pushing up. I actually did not check news or anything. I don't think we have anything, but let's take a look. Nope, we've already done all the news for today for USD and GBP, so good to go. Yeah, so basically I'll just sit here and watch this, see how it goes, and continue growing. So see you in a minute. So we just had my alert go off for GBP/USD. Where am I at? There we go. So there it was. I waited for price to come up in here, realized this was my high. So as soon as the alert went off, I'm like, okay, cool. As long as price can respect this area, I'll be fine. And so I just left it alone. Saw this wick rejection followed by this engulfing candle. And I'm like, okay, cool. That looks pretty nice. So I just left everything going. So I will come in, which this is oh, don't I even mark that in there? I did mark it in here, right? Yeah, 412. How did I move it out? It should have been in 412, but for whatever reason, it's not. So I'll come down here, look at 412, and we have a $11.56 winner. Close that one right there. And there we go. So that is that for a nice little 1 to 2.6. It could come down here. This would be where, you know, if you look at the 5 minute, like this is where I would expect some resistance at, because this is the final point. If you're talking about an uptrend, up, down, and then finally that break there. This is the final point in order to maintain that uptrend. this is another retest zone, which we did have a little pause here, but not enough to actually change the market. So, is it possible to continue going down? Yes, but I want to get in there before we have that problem, or get out of the trade before we have that problem. So that is that. I will take a screenshot of this, and it's just a break and retest, looking for particular levels to respect, and then just take the trade and move from there. So GBP USD closed out at 1160, and there we go, just slowly trickling those losers away, and just move on to the next trade. So what do I have set up next? This is already done and played out, so I don't need to worry about that anymore. What I would like to see now is, let's see, jump out to the daily. What do we have for the daily? I have my zones marked out for the daily here. That's the high and the low. I really don't see anything else that's clear. These are definitely clear. Drop into my 4 hour. My 4 hour should be in between these high and lows. What do I have? I have a zone up here that hasn't been touched. And then this is the same zone, but the 4 hour level. So I could look there. And then drop down to the, I guess I do have another 4 hour level here that has been respected. Drop down to the 1 hour. I had this level here as being part of the downtrend. This would be the last area that price would be at to respect this downtrend. I can get rid of that now since we've already played out with this move here. If this is going to continue down, I'd like to see it move all the way down here for anything else. Other than that, that's not really a clear zone. If I do, that would be the only clarity to it, which would be something like this, which isn't that bad. So is it possible to get into a trade there? Yes. That's actually not that bad. We've already had a bounce off this though, and we've broken the level. For it to come back, I don't know, I'd want it to come all the way down here before it comes back down there. So that would be the key there. If not, the next level's up there. So just been sometimes using a line chart to help clear up from the candles to not get too bogged down by the wicks and all this other stuff. Sometimes I'll also come here and just take the wicks off, and look at where price has been respecting without wicks, just to draw a zone, just an area, and then I'll come in and mark my zone so I actually know where I'm going. And so somewhere in the middle of this area here, I would look at possibly getting into a trade, see how price plays out. So yeah, that's it for now, and I'm gonna go ahead and get back to work. So you guys have a blessed time. See you in a bit. So we just had an alert go off from the 5-minute GBP JPY. To do about this. Unfortunately, you get to the chart, and if you aren't marking up your chart to understand what you're going for, you're probably going to be very, very confused. Why? Well, because I'm confused. Looking at the chart right now, I'm like, okay, so here we have the 4 hour on an uptrend. Nice little uptrend. I mean, if you can't see that we've been making higher highs and higher lows this entire way, then I'm sorry. I got nothing else for you. So we're in an uptrend. It looks like we have a nice little pullback, but then I have a zone here that was broken down and then has come back to. In my eyes, I might have put this up there to be a, hey, come back and check this out. And once this checks out, wait till it pulls away and then comes back as like a possible dirty head and shoulders, whatever it's going to look like. But basically to see if it comes back and respects this area here. So chances are that's, now that I'm looking at it now, that's what makes sense. Should I have drawn that out? Yes, I absolutely should have drawn that out so that I knew that I was waiting on. But I didn't. And so for a second I was confused and had to go back through my thought process. It's like, why would I mark this out? We're in an uptrend. if you set the alert down here and you're like, oh gosh, okay, cool, we are at a resistance area, let me go ahead and see about getting in, because we've hit my alert and everything like that, without taking into consideration, like we're in an uptrend. um this is a smaller downtrend, okay, I'll give you that. But let's look at this downtrend. Let's look at the fact that price just plummeted, plummeted, plummeted all the way down here, bounced away, and then fell again. But then it's just like ranged back and forth this entire way before coming back up into this area. It's like that's not the cleanest uh, retracement back into a zone that I would like if we're going to keep with this downtrend. And so what I'd like to see is this. I'm not even considering a downtrend trade whatsoever. Probably until we either break out of this trend line or definitely break below this previous low. This is the low that made the high, so this would be the low that would completely and totally, if it's violated, would say that this downtrend's over. But then also this support area that price had failed to break for quite some time, going up, and now if it just shatters through, then chances are you're probably going to find some resistance for it to come back down. So this would be another good area. So I wouldn't be looking for sells until that actually happens. So on the 5-minute, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for price to funnel up into this area up here someplace. I'll probably go right about there. Probably doesn't even need to be on the 5-minute anymore. I could probably, why was on the 5-minute? I have no idea. Probably because of all this stuff right here. I didn't want it just trickling up and accidentally hitting it. So yeah, we'll adjust that to the hour. So although it doesn't really matter what time period it's on, because it's one of those, as soon as it hits, it hits. So the thing is, though, you're too low in the time frames. You might look at it and think it's a different trade than what you actually had planned out. So leave it alone. Now, not to say that sell at that zone wouldn't make it. It's just not what I had planned, and it's not what I'm going for. So I will not be messing with it. This is the current plan, and this lines up and makes more sense to me, with everything else that's going on, to even come back up here and retest this area here. Yeah, that makes more sense. Come back down, come back up. But yeah, that makes more sense. I like that. So that's that. That's all I'm waiting on there. It is almost 5 o'clock. Probably won't be taking any trades. I mean, unless they're out here on the daily. I probably won't go down to any of the lower time frames. Only because spreads. I don't want to get kicked out of a trade too early just because spreads knocked me out. So might as well miss the trade instead of worrying about spreads. So that is that. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful time. If you're trading, then continue trading. Continue working out your trading plan. Continue working through your process. And if you're in any trades, you want to share some stuff, by all means, share some things. Other than that, have a blessed day. Take it easy. See you soon.